Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Bukah HaKudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawadah from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. All right, and got this video queued up for today. All right, I was looking at some articles, looking at some different videos with this whole thing going on with Iran. And there's a video I want to play of a certain viewpoint, right? And I believe it's Sky News. Yep, Sky News Australia. Okay, yeah, okay, that's where they got the accent from. It was either Sky News, they have a Sky News in London, England and stuff, so similar accents. But basically, they're saying that, and this is the mindset of the West, that Iran is looking weak right now because here it is within the last couple of years, there's been major assassinations on major, political and military leaders of that nation. And at some point, Iran is going to have to actually, retaliate, not just through Hezbollah, or their different proxies, the Houthis and shit like that. All right, they're going to actually, have to come through and directly, people are basically acknowledging that this is a direct war between Iran and Israel now. Okay, they've been going at it with the proxies for a very long time, but now it's elevated to a new level, right? So, concerning this, I'm gonna play this video. And for right now, it seems like they might, still be. They're gonna continue to use their proxies. It's like just same way how the United States is using Ukraine to fight Russia. All right, they're funding them and whatnot. All right, that's what Iran is doing to Hezbollah and the Houthis and some parts Hamas. Right, concerning this war. Well, eventually we know it's going to be a direct conflict. All right, and with Israel going and actually, sending a strike within Iran, actually the capital city of Iran, Tehran, they're going to have to do something. All right, as you see this title right here, it says Iran is the laughingstock of the Middle East. And we're going to play this, and the guy makes some good points.
And Colonel, we've heard reports that the U.S. is moving more assets into the region, and as you say, there's all those diplomatic supports as well. But Iran has suffered a tremendous trifecta of humiliation through its proxies, getting killed in Beirut, in Tehran even. At what point does their calibrated response ratchet up beyond something that could be absorbed by Iron Dome and would be more serious, ballistic missiles actually from Iran? Or is Iran being very calculating, saying we want to show that we're responding, but not do something that's going to kick off this regional war that people are worried about?
Well, Iran has got to respond. There's no doubt about that. Iran is now the laughingstock of the Middle East, with the leader of Hamas taken out under Iranian protection in Tehran. They've got to respond. They can't afford this kind of embarrassment without a response. And the response also, in my view, has to come quickly, because in the Middle East, a delayed response is also seen as weakness. So they've got to do something, and it's got to be something, I think, pretty serious. Last time, 14th of April, they fired something like 350, 400 projectiles at Israel and did almost no damage whatsoever, because they were pretty much all knocked out of the sky. And that was, again, a humiliation for them, because they talked big about a retaliatory attack against Israel and didn't really deliver. So I think they've got to do something quite significant. But I also believe that both Hezbollah and Tehran will not want to escalate this to the scale of a full-scale outright war with Israel. I don't think they can afford that at the moment. But again, we don't know, and we don't know whether there could be miscalculations, which might well lead to escalation. Whatever happens, I think we're...
Vice President Kamala Harris met with Benjamin Netanyahu, and afterwards she talked about the Israel-Hamas war not being binary. I'm interested in your thoughts on that. And she said she wasn't going to stay silent about wanting an end to the war, wanting a ceasefire. How do you think the Biden administration and a possible Kamala Harris administration will mean for the Middle East long term? There seems to be a fair bit of chaos within the Biden administration, but think ahead. If we do have Kamala as the leader of the free world, what does that mean for Israel?
Well, I think it'll be a disaster if it happens for Israel, but also for the rest of the world. We've seen the consequences of the Biden approach. We've seen it in Ukraine. We've seen it in the Middle East. We've seen it elsewhere. The results of what is effectively a weak administration seeking to appease its enemies. And I think we would see a continuation of that kind of approach by Kamala Harris if she does take over. So it's going to be devastating. And we shouldn't forget, of course, in any of these discussions that it's not just Iran that's behind what's going on in the Middle East. Standing behind Iran is Russia and China. And particularly China is looking to see how the US responds to what's going on here. And I think they've been encouraged by what they've seen. And so I think there's every likelihood that if Kamala takes over and continues this indecisive, weak approach to foreign policy, it's going to just encourage and provoke China to who knows what. We know what their potential plans are with Taiwan and elsewhere in the region.
Richard, you just got 30 seconds left. You mentioned Iran being the laughingstock. Just tell us very quickly your thoughts on the assassination of that character and by Iranian assets, we now learn, Ismail Haniyeh, the leader of Hamas.
I think it shows the weakness of Iran that this was able to happen with, presumably, I don't know, but presumably a Mossad operation, as you say, maybe using Iranian assets. Of course, it shows weakness of Iran around the region, but most critically, I think it shows the weakness of the Iranian regime to the Iranian people, many of whom are dissatisfied with Iran. And this kind of embarrassment can only lead to potentially greater instability and possibly the downfall of the regime in the fullness of time.
Well, that would be a great note to end on. Fantastic. Richard Kemp, Colonel Richard Kemp, always great to chat to you. Thanks so much for coming on at this late hour there in Tel Aviv.
All right, so that was about a 5-minute video. You know, it was a lot going into it, and they was breaking down just kind of where things are, you know, in the forecast. Not to say that they're saying what's going to happen, but they're giving out scenarios as to what very well could go down, you know, and people in the comments, you know, have different viewpoints and whatnot. They were talking about if Harris gets in and how that would shape the war, and they also mentioned China. You know, as you heard, they mentioned China and their plans with Taiwan. All right, so hey, man, you know, Lord willing, you know, this whole election shit, you know, they put Kamala in, and because these nations, they see blood, and really Kamala getting in would be a green light, man. All right, all out hell would break loose, man. All right, maybe not immediately, but you know, hey, we can see it because America's already pretty much stretched in with all these with this military aid, you know, and this military spread, you know, throughout the world. All right, and that's a part of what made Rome fall the first time, because this is, you know, very much the revived Roman Empire, right? The military got stretched in, you know, and that's what's happening now, and it's at the expense of what? The American tax dollar, right? Why they go and fight these different wars and stuff, man. All right, because there's no reason for America to really be backing Israel. We're not a, you know, ally as far as economically or anything. Not in the forefront. We know the hidden hand, of course, but all right, there's no real, you know, benefits to being allies with Israel, and people are starting to see that. Same thing with Ukraine. All right, they're not in NATO, they're not in the EU. You know, why have they been sending billions of dollars? So you know, this is the Lord is he cooked up a perfect story, man. All right, it's about to be a fireworks show. All right, literally, you know, with what's going on. But ultimately, the Lord is orchestrating all of this, all right, concerning these wars and whatnot. That's why I wanted to bring this out. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse, let's see. I start at verse 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. So we know the Lord is gathering all these different nations. Joel 3 speaks about them being gathered into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, right? The valley of the Lord's judgment. So the Lord is doing this, and the Lord is doing it for Israel's sake. The Lord is bringing an end to this kingdom, this current rulership, to set up His anointed, to set up His people, the Israelites, forever. All right, but these wars and problems, that's why it's important. All right, the average American be like, why does that matter? Well, it does matter, first of all, because they're going to bring America directly into this conflict. All right, with this whole Iran-Israel thing, America already sent, a whole fleet over there, man. All right, but also, dealing with Israel, man, for the controversy of Zion, the Lord is bringing these different nations and gathering them up to go fight each other, man. All right, and that's what's happening. Let's go ahead and grab Joel 3, because whenever we speak about war news and whatnot, all right, and it also says in Revelation, which I ain't got to get it, but Revelation, it speaks about the second war was past, and behold, the third war coming quickly. All right, speaking about World War III, man, these are things that we always bring out. And we said that Israel is going to be, the scriptures say that Israel is going to be the least of the flock that shall draw them out. We believe through the Spirit. And we see it. They in the middle, there hasn't been peace over there since they got over there. Right? There's not going to be any peace. And in fact, they're going to help bring all these nations into World War III and help bring them down to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, provoking them, so to speak. All right? Because the Lord said He will war with Amalek from generation to generation, man. He's waking up the mighty men. He's bringing all these nations. He's bringing all these nations down. But yeah, let's get this. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim me this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So we see the weak saying they're strong. Now what America's or what the West sentiment is concerning Iran is they're saying that Iran is the laughing stock because they haven't retaliated, but they haven't pulled out the big guns yet because they're going to have a major backing, and this is according to Ezekiel 38 chapter. They're going to have a backing of Russia, who's also backed by China. So this is why this conflict in particular is so important, because it's going to bring two of the world's biggest military and economic superpowers into this war. Verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, right? Because the Lord is against you heathen. It says, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. So we know that, the way things are moving now, and we know the nukes ain't about to fly next week. All right, the MOTB still got to be pushed throughout the world. All right, but they have that working hard too. All right, the Lord has these prophecies pretty much being, stewing. You put them in a pot and let it cook like stew. Slow cook, put it in the crock pot. The Lord got all these prophecies starting. They're working slowly, and then when it comes, it's gonna come up to a boil, man. All right, that's some cooking terminology for you. All right, but that's what we see happen. All right, so we still waiting on the Hezbollah has been sending rockets and stuff from Lebanon into Israel. All right, but soon you're gonna see this war elevate to a new level. Isaiah 9 and 5, for every battle of the warriors with confused noise, garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Right? So we know this next level is going to go from the ground troops, which you still going to have that going on, but they're going to start sending these cruise missiles, these pocket nukes and shit like that, tactical nukes. All right, we're going to see that eventually. All right, Lord willing, it's this year. So we're going to continue to watch and see what's going on. All right, keeping our eyes on that region, because that's where shit's going to pop off. All right, so Lord willing is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Wakak Kodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the whole elect. Till next time, Shalom.